State of the Texans after their pivotal win over the Chiefs. Where do they go from here? Playoffs, they look pretty possible, but could the Texans get greedy and make history? What are their biggest obstacles? Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey. Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every...
What a wild week it was in the NFL. It is the Locker Room, number one source for Texans digital content. I am Landry Locker. You can see me, hear me here throughout the week, as well as on SNL and the Texans Collective. This is the fourth stream in about 24 hours. And there's a hell of a lot to talk about. Shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring the video. We just barely missed tonight's pick. No touchdown, no extra touchdown pass from Justin Herbert, but the Chargers, they do survive, and they don't really do the Texans too many favors, although it's not the craziest of results, but a Chargers loss would have basically made this week all but perfect for the Texans when it comes to the playoff standings, not just what happened in their game, but the playoff standings as a whole. But now the Chargers, they improved to 9-4. They're in decent control of that top wild card spot, although they do have a tough matchup this week against the Broncos. So if they lose, then the Texans could be tied. Texans open as a 10-point favorite against the Cardinals. And right now, the biggest story for the Texans in regards is the state of the Colts. The Indianapolis Colts have turned into an absolute disaster. They are not a threat really in the division. They're not a threat in the wild card, and it's so bad that they're actually bringing in Phillip Rivers to work out with Riley Leonard and Daniel Jones injured. So the Colts are a disaster right now. And you look at the state of the AFC South, Jacksonville, they got a pretty easy path. The Texans' path is much more challenging than Jacksonville's just because of that one game against the Chargers. But quite frankly, the next 2 weeks, the Texans could pretty much officially get into the playoffs, which I think is important because I think right now the Texans, that they need some guys to be able to rest. Most notably, Woody Marks. D'Amico Ryans spoke today via Zoom. Cody Stoots actually asked him about Woody Marks. Just listen to what D'Amico said about the thin state of the running back position.
Yeah, Woody's done a nice job of, I say, as a running back, like when you get, the bulk of the carries, like it takes a toll on you. I think he's handled himself, very well, taking care of his body, but, it's hard playing running back in this league. And Woody, he's played physical. He's fought through some nicks and bumps along the way. So I'm proud of the way that he continues to push through, even though he's battling, he's pushing through. We'll see where Chubb ends up this week. He had the rib injury throughout the game. So we'll see how this week goes with him, see if he can get back out there for us. And Darway, like you say, 1 for 1. Everybody would love that. That was an awesome job by Darway. I talk about all the time, taking advantage of your opportunities. There's nothing better than Darway in that moment. Man, we needed it most. We needed to get in the end zone, and Darway's the guy to do it. So I'm happy for Darway.
Kim?
All right, there we go. So the Woody Marks thing is interesting because he's doing a good job. Now, a lot of it has to do with the fact that you're thin at running back, but in a perfect world, you want him as your RB2, you want him as 1B best case. And as you go down this stretch, you have 4 ball games remaining. You're most likely, unless there's like a monumental collapse, you're going to have a game after that. Nick Chubb's not getting any younger, and there's not a lot of guys to really spell Woody Marks. So the good thing about the Texans with where they're kind of laid out is that there might be an opportunity to get guys rest. The division would be nice, but the Texans need to win 10 games, 10 and you're in. That's where it is, 10 and you're in. And as long as you hold off Indianapolis, Baltimore, You have the tiebreaker over them, so you're 2 games ahead. You're really 3 games ahead of Baltimore right now. They're not a threat. They're going to have to win the division to get in. Kansas City is not going to catch you. You're 3 games ahead of them because you have the tiebreaker, and the teams above you really they're kind of set in stone. You just need to get in, and Indianapolis heading in the direction they're heading is good for you. There's a chance that game we talked about when Indianapolis was hot and when Indianapolis was starting out on fire, that maybe Indianapolis doesn't need that game. There might be a chance that the Texans don't need that game. There might be a chance they have the playoffs locked up, and they don't need that game. So maybe you're able to rest up. There might be a chance that you do need that game and you still don't need guys to play. They're going to put the ghost of Phillip Rivers out there. They're not activating Anthony Richardson. So this week could not have gone more perfect. You could have gotten greedy and maybe gotten that Chargers dub. But as far as the way things went, it was perfect for the Texans. It's perfect. Couldn't ask for much more. Now, the final thoughts on the Kansas City win. I think it's obvious. The magnitude of this game cannot be minimized. Now, there's a lot of focus on what the Chiefs will not be doing, which I think is appropriate. I don't think that's anything crazy to talk about. I know some people naturally, you watch your team go out there, you watch them win a game like that, and you turn on the national talking shows, which I don't know why you're doing that anymore, but you do that, and all you're hearing about is the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, they will not be in the AFC Championship game and the end of the dynasty and Travis Kelce retiring and all that type of stuff. Look, when you go to every conference championship game for the better part of a decade, that matters. And I don't know about y'all, but up till Andy Reid decided to go for that, I thought Kansas City was going to will their way to a win, and we were just going to be sitting here talking about Nick Caley and the offense, which we perhaps will in a second. But I have no issue with the narrative surrounding the Kansas City Chiefs. I think it's a big opportunity for the Texans. And quite frankly, I think the Chiefs, while they might not be the peak Chiefs that we've seen during that run, they're still as big of a threat as anyone that's above the Texans. I mean, would you rather go to Kansas City in January, or would you rather go to Denver? Would you rather go to Kansas City or New England? Kansas City or Jacksonville? Kansas City or Pittsburgh? And that's one of the tougher opponents that you could face. So the Texans were able to push the Chiefs in the background. I did see something on the chat. Y'all saw me get distracted. I gotta figure this out. I don't know what Mr. 915G Rex is talking about. Appreciate you for rolling through. He says, how about my boy Petrie, huh? He's going hard this season. He's playing well. Okay. Going hard. He is playing his ass off. He's doing his thing. There's no doubt. And we will be at Spanky's this Friday. That is a fact, Sam. This Friday, 3:00, we will be at Spanky's. The happy hour starts then. We got you covered. Get your ass out there, and we'll see you at Spanky's. We're back home this week. We'll be back there on the 2nd of January as well. And then we'll be back at BB's next week. So we're on the road. Business is picking up. We're on the road. We'll definitely be out there. But big win for the Texans. Defense carries. The offense, though, and this is just a fact, D'Amico Ryan seems to embrace it. C.J. Stroud even seems to embrace it. The offense remains the biggest obstacle for this team. And I'm past the point of even holding off hope that Nick Caley is going to be able to figure out. I think they just have to not stink at an all-time level, and they have to figure out ways to win. Because even yesterday, as great as that defensive performance was, when you have 65 yards of offense, or whatever it was, 64 yards of offense in the second half, and this is 2 weeks after only having 35 yards of offense against the Bills, and you're able to win those games, I'm not sitting here saying that the defense is not the biggest reason why you're able to win those games. And you look at the stats that Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes put out there. I'm not sitting here saying that that's not the biggest reason, but you also get a little bit lucky when you start messing with stuff like that. But I'm past the fact, or past the notion that Nick Caley is going to figure some stuff out. There's really people around town that are shaping their lips to say that this offense is getting better. I don't know what they're watching. They damn sure can't give me any stat to back that up, from scoring offense to yards per game. Like, they can't do that. So I don't know what that is. And quite frankly, it's just the mindset of this offense outside of D'Amico and CJ. It appears to be, well, they won, so don't criticize it. It's the exact same experience that I went through in 2018 with Bill O'Brien, when they had that fool's gold double-digit win streak. I don't think this is fool's gold. I think you have an elite defense. I think that was a fool's gold win streak. And they ended up getting exposed in the playoffs. I think this defense is too good to get completely exposed the way that they did against Indianapolis that year. Andrew Luck's final playoff win. But it's you made the change that you made last year to bring in someone better than Bobby Slowick, and you haven't done that. And quite frankly, he might be worse. And now you got guys banged up. So that's going to be your biggest obstacle. I still think this team can do what they've never done. You can get to an AFC championship. There's a lot of things going in your favor. Your defense is elite. You're playing your best ball right now. Quarterback's playing good too. CJ Stroud is overcoming the handcuffs of the guy that talks in his ear before every play. He's doing his thing. He made some big plays yesterday. You can nitpick and say, well, there was a few that maybe he'd like to have back. That's any game. But in that situation, in that atmosphere against that team, with the pressure that he was facing, I thought CJ Stroud played his ass off yesterday. But the offense is gonna be the biggest obstacle. And hopefully they get to ice up and get healthy. But the hope that Nick Caley is gonna figure it out, that's gone. This is a mix of 2018 with a little bit of 2019 and even some 2016 in there. You're leaning on the defense, and you are significantly handcuffed offensively when it comes to Nick Caley. He's clueless. And they are content with what they have, and maybe it's just as simple as accepting reality, which I fully support. That was one of the things that we talked about at the start of the year. You just accept reality. You're going to lean heavily on your defense. Now, I don't think people thought that it would be this bad, but that's where it is. The offense remains the Texans' biggest threat. I saw Greg Rosenthal gave him a compliment, and I use quote marks when it is compliment, but he was like, yeah, the offense actually looks somewhat normal the last couple of weeks. Okay. I guess that's what you're striving for. But they did their thing, and Andy Reid helped out. It was a big win, but the obstacles are very clear. The coach is kind of embracing the problem. CJ Stroud is embracing it, and that's where they're at. Kiki Hogan says, why are some of the local pundits saying CJ played bad last game? I know he didn't make 2 throws he probably should have, but he made crucial. See, I don't know who local pundits are. We got to give actual names. I don't know who local pundits are. I have no idea. That's very general. I don't know who said that CJ played bad. I don't think I listened to a single local pundit today. I listened to Cody Stoots. I did the collective with Reggie and Sean. So I don't know who the local pundits are. I have no idea. You have to be more specific there. Have no idea what that means, who that is, what that is. Yeah. You're saying Gallant gave him a D grade? Oh yeah, I didn't see Paul Gallant's grades. One Mortal 2. Says CJ looks more accurate when running than in the pocket. Yeah, I think it's hit or miss. It's up or down. He's gonna have to make off script plays. It's when I say 2018 and 2019, we're looking at the reason why I say that's similar is number one, I think you're kind of finding ways to win games, 18 and 19, which they did. I think in 19, it was a little bit more sustainable. It looked more sustainable. You had Watson going to Kansas City and winning that game. But in 18, they were winning games, but there were still questions. But I think the element of it is you're running this bullshit Patriot offense, and your quarterback is going to have to make plays a lot of times despite the offense. So that's why I say that. 2016, I don't think CJ Stroud's Brock Osweiler. I know they had a really good defense that year. It was number one. Some kind of rolled their eyes at that. But they would win games and they would lean heavily on defense. And the offense looked incompetent in large part because of the quarterback and the system. But I think the incompetence of those offenses, sadly enough, with Osweiler and O'Brien, I think at times, especially in the second half, the last few weeks, we've seen that. So, yeah, this is a really, really, really good defense, and there's no disputing that. Space Sage says, "Can this defense be better next year?" I don't know. I haven't even really thought about that. I just wonder how far the defense can carry them this year. I don't know if can they be better next year. I don't know. You're getting most of your guys back. You're not losing anything. You're probably going to improve on the D line. There could be a drop off at linebacker. We'll see how Aziz travels from one year to the next, but I don't think Derek Stingley is going to get worse. I don't think Kamari Lassiter is going to get worse. I don't think Kalen Bullock's going to get worse. We'll see how Petrie holds up with that physicality, and then you're going to have Hunter for one more year, and you're going to have Will Anderson. Togiai will be back. Again, defense, you really don't have a lot of guys that you have to think about. Offensive line, you're going to have to figure some stuff out. The question is, can the offense be worse next year? I think the answer to that is yes. But the defense, I haven't really thought ahead to next year. We're not in draft mode. That's the beauty of this game. That's the beauty of this dub that we speak on the chat. Caesar salad 107. Get you a Caesar salad at Spanky's this Friday. It's very good. Add the protein, the chicken. He says, are we allowed to question if Mills is better than CJ at running this offense and reading the blitz? It was Seattle all over again in the third. You can question whatever you want. I do wonder about the operation. I think the operation is fair to question. I don't think the talent, I think obviously CJ has the talent, but I mean, I go back to the drive at the in the second half where you come out of a TV timeout and then you have to call a timeout to avoid a delay of game. And then on third down, you actually get the delay of game. So, yeah, I think you can absolutely question that. I also think if we already functioned heading into the season with the knowledge that CJ Stroud was going to have more control at the line of scrimmage and then we saw Mills, yeah, you can question that. You question whatever you want. But for sure, yeah. Mark Sanchez says, Mike McDaniels for OC if Miami part ways with him, ? Man, they're playing their ass off right now. They're battling. I thought they were a dead team walk and they fired the GM and all of a sudden they're like in the hunt graphic. The Miami Dolphins have the same record as the Chiefs and the Ravens. Now the problem for them is Baltimore is still just one game back in their division. They're 6-7. Chiefs, they're kind of in the same category as the Dolphins. But the Chiefs actually have the tiebreaker. But 6-7 right now, the Miami Dolphins. They're not going to catch New England at 11-2, but yeah, the assumption was that Mike McDaniel would get fired. Right now, they're playing their ass off. They're doing their thing. The Rhino brings up our guy Andrews. I hope they don't love Andrews so much that we don't acquire another center. I've seen him get whooped enough. Yeah, it does kind of feel like there are a lot of times where he's getting his ass whooped. Now, intangibles are always what coaches talk about. I know Woody Marks said that Andrews a lot of time is like laying out situational stuff with him, but I don't see how Andrews would not at least have you open to the possibility of adding another body at center. And it's not the most far-fetched thing to think, even in the draft or even just off the street, that you could find someone that could be better than him. Maybe he gets better. But yeah, there is an interesting element to that. Ultraman 9988, he asks an interesting question. He says, who do we want to win next week? Do you want the Chargers or do you want the Chiefs? From the Texans localized lenses. So it's interesting because this is kind of a win-win. And if the Chargers had lost today, then it would get really interesting because they would be 8-5 and the Texans would be 8-5. As they sit right now, the Chargers are 9-4, the Texans are 8-5, and the Chiefs are 6-7. Now, if you just don't want any possibility of the Chiefs being in the playoffs and you have a healthy amount of fear for the Chiefs, then the Chargers can end the Chiefs next week. That'll be a wrap for the Chiefs if the Chargers beat them. That's it. Like, there's zero chance the Chiefs fall to 6-8. You're not getting into the playoffs. Period, point blank, end of story. That's the end. So if the Chargers win, then they would go to 10-4, and the Chiefs would go to 6-8. The Chiefs would be done. The Chargers would pretty much be in the playoffs, but the Texans would actually have a chance to get that 5 seed from the Chargers, assuming that they beat the Cardinals, in which the Texans are a 10-point fave, because they'll play the Chargers in 2 weeks, and the Texans actually would have, if they beat them, they would have the head-to-head. So they could get up to that 5 or 6 seed. So it really just depends how you look at it. Like, do you think that the Chargers are just going to run away with it? Or do you think that you would rather just have the Chiefs out? Now, the Chargers also have to play the Cowboys and the Broncos. Now, the Broncos might not need that game, but they could. So their schedule is a little bit tough. But me personally, I would say just get rid of the Chiefs, get it over with. And if the Texans are the 6 seed instead of the 5, so be it. See what happens. I think I know these teams look vulnerable. I know I just said that they have the same record as the Dolphins, but if Baltimore can just get out of the way and Kansas City can get out of the way, I think that's a good thing. Buffalo's not going anywhere. They're going to be in the playoffs, although it does not go through Buffalo. So going to Buffalo, kind of a small possibility. Perhaps Buffalo stays above you in the standings. They actually got New England this week. If New England could beat Buffalo, that would be huge for the Texans. But I side with get the Chiefs and Ravens out of there. I don't give a rat's ass if they're not what they once were. Just get them out of there. That's me. Dominic Castillo, 5667. I know it ain't draft season. It's always draft season. But I'd say get a free agent veteran center and draft a high second-round pick left guard. There's a lot of possibilities, and they have extra picks. So draft is going to be fun. We look forward to it. SNL, we're already booked for Indianapolis, so we'll be there at the Combine in February. So we got you covered on that. The draft streams are always massive. We're going to put together an epic Saturday party for day 3 of the draft like we always have. So we got you covered on that. But it's always draft season. We can always talk draft for sure. I can also always talk grass. And I'm not talking about that
high-grade marijuana called Kush on the streets.
I'm talking about turf. Texans turf. Dan the man, my goodness, he's busy during the holidays because everybody wants to increase their home value. You want a gift that is going to last for a long time. I've had mine for 3 years. I was a customer before the partnership. A lot of neighbors, a lot of listeners, viewers, they've jumped on. It's not fun shopping for turf. A lot of people just flat out quit. I almost quit after talking to 5 guys. They're slime balls. They don't put a lot of thought into it, but that's not Dan. Whether he's doing a baller downtown, whether he's doing just a small house like mine, putting green, playing services, all that, he's got you covered. He's going to customize it for you. They're going to put extra time into the drainage. It is perfect. It is lovely. It is the best thing you can do for your home. Someone asked me the other day at BB's about it, talked about their dog. It's way easier with the pet out there because there's no insects, and the dogs absolutely love it. You can clean it. It's very easy to clean. It stays cleaner than grass. Go to TexansTurf.com. Let Dan the man do for you what he did for me. It's a lovely thing, no doubt. But yeah, the Chargers and the Chiefs. I guess I would just say just eliminate the Chiefs. That would be me. But some people are looking at that 5 seed. For me, maybe this is crazy, but like in a year in which Denver, New England, Pittsburgh, and maybe the Jags are the teams that are going to host their first playoff games, I don't think the difference between the 5-6 seed is that big of a deal. I would much rather have Kansas City and Baltimore out of the way. That's just me. I don't see like a huge difference. Like really, like power rank who you're most scared of when it comes to Denver. CJ got hurt in that game. Drake May in his first playoff game. The ghost of Aaron Rodgers, and then Trevor Lawrence. Like, tell me where you're scared and where you really need the seeding. Now, if there are upsets, then that's where that 5 seed kind of comes into play. But there's really nothing scary about any of those teams in any of those situations. And quite frankly, the Texans have never had a playoff game where they didn't win the division. So wild card might be a nice change up. Might be a nice change up. Quite frankly, the Texans cold weather, I don't think it's a thing, especially with the defense. The defense travels in cold weather. So they can figure that out. It's not anything scary. But that's where they are after this. The biggest obstacle in the division is the Jags. The Jags got it very easy. Who cares? Texans just need to get in the playoffs. The Jags got it very easy. You need Denver to beat Jacksonville in 2 weeks, and then you need the Texans to win out. But the Jags got it very easy. Colts got it tough. Texans got it tough. Jags, biggest obstacle in the division. That's what you need to keep an eye on. And as far as the offense, it is what it is. I know that's the worst explanation you can possibly give. The offense is what it is. And it's also is what it has been. Go back to 2018, go back to 2019, go back to last season. That's what the offense has been. That's what the offense is. Kind of used to it. Now, this defense, though, very special. This is arguably the best defense in Texans history. And if they can continue that, if they can continue to stay healthy, if they can take care of their business, then maybe they can overcome it. But as far as the offense, it is what it is. There's not. I've lost all hope for the Nick Caley thing. I'm not going to drive myself nuts trying to figure it out, especially when you got people that should know better shaping their lips to say it's gotten better. There's some people that I respect that are trying to shape their lips to say that silliness. That's insane. And then you're also hearing, well, we won, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Good job, but trying to make history here. But the offense is what it is. They're bottom half of the league in every category, I think around 20. And maybe that's good enough. Maybe you can win games. You beat some pretty good teams. Early in the season, it was, can the Texans beat a good team? They beat good teams now, even when they don't play their best. So that's the formula. That's the recipe. That's what they got to figure out. They open against Arizona as a 9.5-point favorite. I think Arizona is probably a little bit scarier than they get credit for, but they're a disaster, and there's a chance they may have quit on their coach. But 9.5 is a hell of a lot of points. Especially, we don't know what is going to happen with Woody Marks. The way D'Amico Ryans just spoke, I wonder if Woody Marks needs to ice up. Then the question becomes, what's up with Nick Chubb's ribs? They just brought in the white boy, Schrader, whatever, from Missouri. I liked his game 2 years ago. I haven't really seen him do anything in the NFL. I know that he was with the Rams, so maybe Nick Caley has a little familiarity with him. Hell, maybe Nick Caley, he wants to be a Patriot, so maybe he'll be comfortable getting a white running back.
Race car.
Maybe this is like his Rex Burkhead or Danny Woodhead. Maybe this is like what's going to revive Nick Caley. Oh, I got a white running back. Oh, Trucker says you should respect my GOAT, Nick Caley. You're not being serious. It's not about respect. He's just not very good. But he'll be the biggest obstacle. And we'll see how it goes. But some of these guys need to ice up. The injury report's going to be interesting. Hopefully you can figure this out. And hopefully by this time next week, the playoff picture is very clear. There's a good chance that the playoff picture is extremely clear. Colts are going to Seattle. That would be the biggest upset of the season in the NFL. The Colts are 14-point underdogs, which is unheard of in the NFL. They're 14-point dogs. So if you win this week and the Colts lose, you're in the driver's seat like a mofo. It doesn't get much easier for them either. So right now, Indianapolis is right there. They're the one behind you. You win this week, there's a chance that it's damn near impossible for you to miss the playoffs. There's a chance it's damn near impossible. So it's lined up nicely. 4 streams, 24 hours. We'll be back at Spanky's this week. We hope to see you there. I think Cody's going back with a half and half pizza. Shout out to Sleeper for doing what they do. Use that as the scoring app. If you tailed the picks, hopefully you get drawn for the $100. We'll do that a little later on this week. And you can get the $20 free Sleeper. Use my promo code Locker. Some of you may not play Sleeper yet. You need to. So go ahead and do that. And you can get a 100% deposit. Get the free $20. Nothing required of you in order to do that. Appreciate y'all for rolling through. Always remember when it comes to this Texan stuff, and it is really fun right now, we're all in it together. Appreciate y'all for rolling through.
Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too. Landlocked, got the game in the headlock. Localize every time, can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days, opinions to give, we got takeaways. If it's up, then it's up, we number 1. You don't need to try your luck. Locker room, yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk, yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source, we the pulse of the city too.